Let's now shift our focus to the other big development that we're tracking, and quite a shocking one at that. Texas has decided to reopen the state 100%. Now, in a sweeping rollback of COVID-19 restrictions, the governor of Texas has also lifted the mask mandate. The governor says the cases are falling, the pace of vaccination is good, and as more and more countries around the world lift restrictions, can we really do away with the mask? That's the big question. We have Dr. Peter Chin Hong, infectious disease expert, joining us. He's a professor at the University of California. Thanks so much for being with us on NDTV. The Texas governor issued, perhaps one of the most sweeping rollback of COVID-19 restrictions just yet by lifting the mask mandate. What do you make of this?
I share the governor of California's viewpoint in thinking that it's absolutely reckless. I'm really worried that turning on the switch all of a sudden, it's like you're sleeping in the dead of night and you turn on the light full force. People are going to be stumbling, walking around. It's going to be dangerous. Lives are going to be lost.
Well, it's not just Texas, because even Michigan, Louisiana, Mississippi, there are other states that seem to be following what Texas has done. Is this now going to be a trend in the U.S.?
It is a trend in some states. I would say that other states are probably going to be more cautious. I'm worried that it's going to be divided along political lines once again. And what we had been hoping for with the new administration is a coordinated national strategy. So we will see what will happen.
Right. The governor, however, tweeted to justify his move. Now, he said that Texas has the lowest COVID hospitalization since October. The positivity rate is the lowest since mid-October. And, the pace of vaccination has also gone up. Do you buy this justification?
No, but a decline in cases doesn't mean that there are no cases. I think people are fixated on a percentage decrease, but not the absolute number that's left. Let me give you an example. We've seen a decline in 75% of cases in my region in California. However, in my hospital, we are still 3 times more where we were in October. So saying you have had a percentage decline in cases doesn't really capture the fact that we have a lot of cases around. Our set point is a lot higher.
Right. Now, Texas is the third most populous state. It's already administered, according to the governor's own estimates, about 5.7 million vaccine shots to around 29 million residents. As we gradually lift COVID-19 restrictions, even as cases are declining, vaccinations are increasing, what should really be the protocol? Can gradually, something like masks wither away?
I think the operative word here, Rishika, is gradually, not suddenly. And I think that's where people have problems with the Texas situation. You don't all of a sudden say you can do anything you want. You do things in a very gradual fashion. We've had many examples in the United States where you suddenly open too fast and there's a surge in cases. And 13% of the population vaccinated in Texas is great, but nothing to really celebrate about in terms of herd immunity. 13% is not 85%. 13% is not 70%.
Okay, but you're saying opening up is important. In Texas, for instance, 100% opening up of businesses is taking place. What restrictions, according to you, should stay in place?
Opening the economy gradually doesn't mean you cannot do things and you cannot protect yourself. In fact, I think masks are going to be worn for quite a while in society until we get enough people vaccinated. And that will probably be, in the order of a year for certain regions, maybe more than a year for the world. The mask is very easy to wear. It's very light. It protects you against other infections like influenza and the common cold. There's no real reason not to wear the mask while we're all reaching up to that point. Plus, a lot of people are not consenting to be vaccinated yet. So that vaccine hesitancy is going to probably delay, tearing off my mask and throwing it up into the air. Opening up the economy doesn't mean that you don't wash your hands.
Right.
And to have a statement that's saying you can do anything you want and we put it on your honor system really doesn't capture, the moral obligation I think a governor has to his constituents.
All right. I want to ask you, last question, Dr. Peter Chin-Hong. Cases in the United States are declining. However, it does continue to still remain the worst hit country in the world. Do you believe a move like removing mask mandate can undo the progress the US has made in the last few weeks?
I'm worried that we will see a surge in the next few weeks. The question is actually not whether or not we'll see a surge. The question is by how much. There's going to be spring break coming up soon. And Texas, for example, has a lot of spring break destinations like South Padre Island, which will, permit a lot of congregation of a lot of unvaccinated individuals, particularly young people where the vaccines haven't been rolled out to yet. So that and, the stalling across the country as people feel more courageous will probably lead to increase in numbers.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us with that perspective. Clearly, from what you're saying, your advice is that people must absolutely continue to keep their masks on, even if cases are declining and even if you have received the vaccine shot. That's very important.